Hi there, Dave Markham here. Welcome to the Spiritual Life, topic 9. Today we're talking about form versus content. What on earth does that mean? Uh, the form are the external characteristics and attributes. They are the things that we perceive on the path of the ego. Someone's young or old, they're black or white, they're male or female, they're beautiful or ugly, they're able bodied or disabled. We make all kinds of distinctions based on form. We're told you can't tell a book by its cover, but as human beings, we do that all the time. We tend to put people in categories and groups and compare ourselves and our group with people in other groups. And so, form is a big part of our life on the ego plane in terms of identifying the various objects and phenomenon that we interact with on a daily basis. So, on the one hand, form is a necessary part of our perception and ability to navigate in the world. On the other hand, it can be very when we focus only on form, it can be very illusory and disillusioning. So people get upset sometimes as they get older and their hair starts to gray and they get wrinkles in their face and they have fat deposits on various parts of their body. And they think as they get older, they get uglier and they go to the plastic surgeon and get tucks and nips and Botox and all kinds of stuff so that they can maintain a more youthful appearance. We also care very much about what other people think. So very often we put up a facade or a pretense, pretending we're one way when we're another. And so we learn as we get older that our attachment to these externals is always bound for pain and suffering, resentment and grievance because they're impermanent. They're changing constantly. And starting to recognize that form really isn't where it's at. We want to know the book behind the cover. We want to know what's under the surface. And so we start to search for the essence of things, the content beneath the form. So the first step in using this concept on our path to spiritual development of form versus content is to know the difference. There's a big difference. And just knowing there's a difference helps us apprehend and focus on things that are important. It also can help us from stop being so judgmental and puts us in a place where we can affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of all people, regardless of their externalities. And we can focus on the divine spark within and set aside all those identity characteristics which we use to separate and divide parts of humanity from other parts of humanity. It's all nonsense, right? John Lennon's great song, Imagine, there were no nations, no religions, no boundaries that are dividing us as human beings, which we use to exalt ourselves and diminish others. And so our own ego gets puffed up at other people's expense because we're led to believe that we're better than them. We might be bad, but we're not as bad as that. So, why should we take this idea of form versus content seriously? Well, when we start focusing on the content instead of the form, we find that we have more peace and more bliss. And there is a diminishment of our anger, resentment, fears, grievances, and we improve our mental health. Secondly, it improves our social relationships with others. It's a way of not only improving our own sanctity and holiness, but the sanctity and holiness of the world that we inhabit here on the ego plane. And lastly, this concept can help us get on a better track. When we become disillusioned and depressed and anxious and fearful, and then we realize that all these things on the path of the ego don't really make any difference. They're just superficial externalities. We then start to focus more on the spiritual things, the unconditional love, which is, as Jesus tells us, the way to the kingdom. All right. Thanks for spending this time with me. Till next time, be well, stay well. Bye.